Welcome back to BookedMM with Mrs. Mullen. Today we are going to be looking at the book, The Scorpion Rules by Erin Bow. This is a science fiction and it says that it's the first one in the series. I will tell you that at the end of this I didn't feel like it was lending itself to another book. It did seem like it tied everything up, but you know how authors are. They find a way to make a trilogy because that's what they do. This book takes place in the distant future after our polar ice caps have melted and we are human beings trying to find the resources we need to survive. So it's one of those survival science fiction stories, not post-apocalyptic because we don't have massive disease and we don't have zombies or anything like that, but we do have a world in chaos. Now before I go much further, spoiler alert, in my enthusiasm to tell you more about this book, I might tell you something you don't want to know. So just click away if you're worried about that. Right now, I've not read anything by Erin Bow before. She has written other books. This is the first one that I've read by her. And I will tell you that it's a little bleak. It's a little dark. It's not one of those books that you're smiling while you're reading it. It is intriguing. It's a book that you have to think about and ponder while you're reading it. This is one that you definitely need to read when your mind is fully awake so that you can kind of keep track of what's going on. I did start reading it late at night and I had to go back and reread a little bit because things weren't making sense to my brain, and that's when I said, just wait till tomorrow and then read. All right, so in this story, the world has gotten to a point where really the biggest fight is over water. Now, if you think about the polar ice caps melting and all those end of the world scenarios, you lose a lot of land because, you know, the water in the ocean fills up. And what's left are the higher points, kind of deserty areas. And so human beings, in order to survive, need to be able to find resources and water. Well, what happens is that the humans decide to fight each other in wars, because why work together when you can just kill someone? So they slowly start developing technology to make that happen, and one of the things they create is artificial intelligence. Now, I know you're starting to think it's science fiction, AI. What's going to happen when you create AI that's intelligent enough to help you win a war? What does the AI decide to do? Take over, right? So in this world, the artificial intelligence that they created says, you know what, if I'm going to save humans, then I have to be in charge because these humans don't know what they're doing. And the only way to stop humans from having wars is to make it personal. So what the AI does is it starts blowing up cities until people stop. So it wipes all these major cities off the face of the earth, and then it looks at the survivors and says, hey, you can each create your own little nations, and that's great, and you can have whatever rulers you want, but you have to give me one of your children. So each ruler has to give a child to the AI, and he calls them the precepts. And each child is they're kept in this little camp area, and then let's say one area declares war on another area. Then the AI goes, okay, you guys declared war. You can have your war, but I'm killing your children. So in other words, the penalty for declaring war is your own child ends up being killed. Well, this story takes place where those children are being kept. And it's the story of those children and the things that go through their mind, knowing that if their parents ever make the decision to declare war, their life is forfeit. And like I said, it's a little dark. It's a little bleak. Because you really get into the mind of them and what they feel like their parents are thinking about, and kind of the despair that they live constantly knowing that that axe is above their head, that at any moment, if somebody wants to attack somebody else, then they, who had nothing to do with it, their lives are forfeit. So, that is The Scorpion Rules by Erin Bow. This is one of our Lone Star books. It's one of the ones you need to consider. I'm going to be honest, not one of my favorites. I guess I like things to be a little more cheery than this one was. And I was a little confused kind of how they made it all come in the end. And I didn't really like the main AI character at all. But that's not to say that you won't like it. So I want you to go ahead and give it a try, The Scorpion Rules by Erin Bow. Thank you for tuning in to BookedMM with Mrs. Mullen. This is your daily reminder. Keep reading!